Hello, everyone. My name is Luke Welch, and I will be discussing my presentation, which is on addressing trust, communication, and accountability changes in remote and hybrid work under Canadian employment law. Trust, communication, and accountability are three vital aspects to talk about when it comes to remote and hybrid work environments. Today, I'll be discussing my research question: how can Canadian law and workplace policy address trust, communication, and accountability in remote and hybrid work environments? Since the COVID-19 pandemic, remote and hybrid work arrangements have become much more common across Canada. Many organizations discovered that employees could continue working effectively outside of a traditional office setting. While these arrangements provide greater flexibility and work-life balance, they also create new challenges for both employers and employees. So let's start with some definitions here. Remote work. Well, what is remote work? It's where employees perform job duties from a place that is outside of the employer's traditional workplace. On the other hand, hybrid work is a flexible work arrangement in which remote work as well as in-person work at the employer's workplace are combined. Organizations have to find ways to maintain productivity and accountability while also respecting the employee's privacy. My research explores how Canadian employment law and workplace policies can respond to these types of challenges. So, why does trust and accountability even matter? Well, one of the biggest concerns surrounding remote work is whether employers can trust their employees to remain productive without direct supervision. See, research conducted by Bloom and his colleagues found that employees working from home increased their productivity by 13% compared to employees working within the office. The study that they did also found higher job satisfaction and lower turnover rates among remote workers. Similarly, there was research conducted examining a work from anywhere program that found that employees who were given greater flexibility actually maintained high levels of performance without a decline in their work quality. See, these findings challenge the traditional belief that productivity depends on physical supervision. Instead, they suggest that employees can remain accountable when they are given clear and outlined expectations. Rather than focusing on where employees work, organizations should be focusing on the results they produce. This provides a shift towards management based on trust that can strengthen employee engagement while also maintaining that important accountability. Although remote and hybrid work offer many benefits, communication remains one of the most significant challenges. Research from the Canadian Bar Association and the Government of Canada found that virtual work changes how employees interact with one another. Informal conversations that naturally occur in the workplace are often replaced by scheduled meetings and emails. And while these tools allow for employees to stay connected, they may not fully replace the benefits of face-to-face interactions. Reduced communication can affect collaboration and workplace culture. For this reason, organizations need to have intentional communication strategies, and this can include things like regular team meetings, manager check-ins, pretty much just any opportunity for more collaboration. Effective communication is essential to maintaining trust and accountability in remote and hybrid workplaces. Canadian employment law has already begun adapting to the realities of remote and hybrid work. For example, Ontario now requires employers with 25 or more employees to maintain written policies regarding electronic monitoring. These policies help increase transparency by informing employees if and how they are being monitored. While employees can still monitor workplace activity, employees have a better understanding of how information is being collected and used. The federal government has also implemented hybrid work policies while continuing to recognize the employer's duty to accommodate employees under the human rights legislation. These policies attempt to balance workplace flexibility with organizational needs like collaboration and communication. Together, these developments demonstrate that Canadian law is evolving and developing to balance accountability, privacy, and flexibility, rather than just prioritizing one objective over the rest of them. From my research, the evidence suggests that Canadian employment law and workplace policy should focus on creating a balance between trust, communication, and accountability. On the screen here, the implications show that employers should evaluate employees based on performance outcomes rather than physical presence. They should limit excessive monitoring practices, strengthen communication, and support employee autonomy wherever they can. At the same time, policymakers should continue protecting employee privacy, maintaining accommodation rights, and encouraging transparency in the workplace wherever they can. So the question remains, where do we go from here, and how should Canadian employment law and workplace policy evolve from this point forward? Well, we see that remote and hybrid work can be highly productive and beneficial when supported by balancing legal frameworks and workplace policies, but also when they're supported by good management practices and the continuance of appropriate legal protections. The research consistently shows that employees perform best when they are trusted, given clear outlines, and supported through communication. See, ultimately, the most effective response to the challenges of trust, communication, and accountability in remote and hybrid work environments is that balanced approach that combines trust-based management with clear communication and transparency. I want to thank you for listening to my presentation today, and I hope that you learned something new.